Alright, time for underdraftphysics.com. Debate physics also, but yeah, debate. Just everybody's just such a, such a piece of shit. Anyway, so Pyrrho has left a silly comment. So again, he still won't do this start a paragraph with a capital letter thing. Still won't do it. Anyway, the problem you are having with debate is you don't let other people have their own beliefs. I mean, it's just so silly. I wouldn't participate if the objective isn't to find a truth. It's a fight. It's a battle, battleground of ideas. That's what it is. There's no point in doing it for any other purpose than to dissect and find the straight line in all the bullshit, to find the right answer, the better statement of the truth, the more precision. That's the whole objective. I mean, I could argue Newton's third law, equal and opposite reaction is, sort of nonsense in the sense that it doesn't really say enough. I mean, it's true, but it doesn't say it like you wouldn't call me giving away $10 or $5. Say I have $10, I give away $5. I don't need a counter reaction to make me only have 5. There's no counter force. There's just the one act. I gave away the 5. I don't have 5. I'm minus 5. So it doesn't really say it completely. It's an incomplete statement, you could argue. And all of this is to find more complete and exact language to describe reality. And you are obnoxious to that end. And this is some social game you like to play, apparently. Apparently you just like human interaction and whatever. I, on the other hand, despise it and hate it, okay, and only do it because of the fact that the truth really, really matters. It's really important. Trillions of little sentient beings are dependent on us being smart, not stupid. And frankly, there's no other person involved here. There's just a battle of arguments, ideas, descriptions. That's it. And you just won't play that game. Instead, you want to play some bullshit game where, let's say you're playing pool, and you just get to say, well, I'll just pretend I knocked the 11 ball in the side pocket, and you can pretend you did this, and then we'll just pretend the game. We won't play an actual game. Yeah, it's just, I just can't, sometimes I'm just amazed at the drivel you type, and this is just such a pile of drivel. The problem you are having with debate is you don't let other people have their own beliefs. It's just nonsense. You can have whatever beliefs you want. You have to argue them. Somebody can believe Mohammed is the Messiah. That it's okay to marry 11-year-olds. Whatever, okay? They can believe it, but I can certainly argue that, no, it's not ethical. 11-year-old isn't prepared to make such a commitment for the rest of their life. You fucking asshole. I mean, these aren't complicated arguments to make. And these arguments about physics are so much more diagrammable and explicit. And you're just pretending here. Okay. I don't expect you to think my opinion is right. Well, of course, I'm not going to do that until you prove it right. That's the whole argument. You have to demonstrate it to be right by making it credible. And the incredible part is that you don't, have evidence. You're just speculating and, making shit up, frankly. And you're just saying, well, I prefer this pile of shit as a made-up story. And you evade, in my opinion, okay, recognizing that, no, this truth can be known. This isn't some, truth lost in a fog somewhere. This is a truth easy to see. You just turn the light switch on. And physics hasn't turned the light switch on. It's keeping it in the dark because it won't do any of these elemental experiments that'll prove its whole theme is broken. The whole concept, wave particle. Again, I can prove it's a particle. Okay, I can demonstrate that particles work fine and they are more complete in their answer. Just as I can explain an explanation for charge that's more complete. Yours doesn't even exist. You just think it's a magical property. I mean, come on. This is such ridiculous nonsense. Anyway, but I expect you to believe I really have my opinion, so whatever that even means. Again, I certainly believe you have opinions, but I don't think you have any character. I don't think there's any integrity to your thought process. You think of yourself as a logician, but you can't do logic because you've broken the rules of logic. You don't care about non-contradiction because you're basically saying everybody gets to make up their own shit. And somehow it has to be respected, even if it's just made up shit. I mean, it's, you apply no editorial rigor to anything. You're just saying, make up any story, submit it, and we all have to read it and pay attention. Well, no, we don't. But you say, I know you're right. Now, I don't think I've said that about any general subject, so that's a bit of a misparaphrase. I think you know I'm right about specific arguments. I think you know science should be better than the science is, in the sense that it should have better evidence. It shouldn't be claiming without the goods. And I think you know there's no good reason they haven't done the Eddington experiment from space. There's just no good reason. 400 times better resolution. You know that fact, and you know how important that 400 times is. You know that's gigantic. And to not do, like I said, the experiment that made Einstein credible. To prove it, to show that light really is bent. Not only bent, but bent twice as much by gravity. Okay? Not by scatter, not by hitting atoms, but by the force of gravity. You know the difference between experiments where you're shooting photons or radio waves through the corona of the sun versus ones where you're not. You know there's a difference between those experiments. You're not an idiot. So don't tell me you can't concede or you don't understand that the evidence sucks. Okay, the fact that we don't have any of this collision evidence, that they've never taken all these high-speed cameras out there. I've emailed all these channels. I can't get them to do a kinetic energy experiment. I mean, it's just, so yes, you're, but I'm too stubborn to admit, no, you're too much of a hypocrite and a duplicitous one to boot, to admit the simple fact that the evidence should have already been compiled. We already should have explicit, hard evidence that 4 pounds dropped 1 foot is the same energy at impact of 1 pound dropped 4 feet. We should have clear evidence that that's a truth if it's going to be an axiom. I know you don't. Well, you're too busy, doing your personalities on the internet thing to do any research. But if you really research the whole visa controversy, again, I think you're smart enough to understand that denting clay with round objects, not penetrating deep into the clay, just denting the surface with round objects, would be debatable as a linear measurement of energy. I think you can even understand the thin ice kind of argument and understand that there's really no other explanation than, yes, as you go fast across the surface, gravity hasn't had enough time to make you weigh your regular weight, and so you weigh less. It's just a fact. Per inch of ice you cover, your weight is less. All right. If you can't acknowledge two people with different theories both still want to find the truth, well, I'm just saying that it's clear. My argument is that the dishonesty and duplicity and hypocrisy of your science, where I have to prove you wrong, but you never have to prove yourself right. all that kind of duplicity and hypocrisy is the real problem. And that has nothing to do with two people having, equal devotion to the truth. You'll allow an awful lot of cheating for your side. Okay, so it's okay. The shenanigans of politics, you see it all the time. When they attack you personally, then they go out and attack somebody else personally, and think their personal life matters, but they don't want anybody to scrutinize theirs. I mean, your hypocrisy in this pursuit of truth is, in my opinion, it's not feasibly or credibly denied, that your double standards. So, yeah, no, I don't think you're a truth seeker. I think you're a fable defender, and you'll do harm to the mechanisms that produce the truth to get what you want as a conclusion. Then there's nothing debatable. So whatever. There's no such thing as nothing debatable. And so that doesn't even make much sense to me. Obviously, we can debate it. And obviously, I have no obligation to assume you to be a truth seeker for any reason whatsoever until you prove you're a truth seeker. And the whole point of the video I made, where I just draw a lever and I say, well, what's your argument? Levers don't conserve momentum? Are you really going to say it when every physicist I've ever seen talks about levers? They talk about conservation of momentum. So they obviously think levers do conserve momentum. And if they conserve momentum, there's no way to escape the simple truth that they must then create free kinetic energy. Just as the 5-ton train, combined with another 5 tons, leaves with 1/2 the kinetic energy after the interaction, even though all the momentum is conserved. And you're saying that somehow you heated something, or you moved something, or you caused sparks, or you made sounds, and you used up all the kinetic energy that way. And I'm making the simple argument that I think you're not too stupid to understand that you can't possibly bend something or knock something off or make sound or vibrate the track or heat the ground without using something's momentum. The momentum has to move from the object to something else. I mean, a bowling ball rolling down the alley is losing energy to the alley. Okay, not much though, right? Because it's oiled and hard. And then it gives its energy to the pins. For every interaction it has, it loses energy to anything it hits. Its momentum is exchanged. So if something conserves 100% of the momentum, it can't do some other kind of work. It can't heat something. It can't shoot something. It can't vibrate something. It can't do any of that extra stuff if you conserved all of its momentum. That argument is solid, and the fact that in 2 years nobody can draw me a picture of how it works some other way without saying something like levers don't conserve momentum. So if you're going to concede they have to conserve momentum, then you're going to have to concede that kinetic energy can be freely made. And you're just running from those direct points and typing this drivel, frankly, this useless drivel, pretending somehow the rules of argument have been violated, that somehow you're not cutting you enough of a break or something, or you're not, what am I supposed to do? So, and you've disengaged from real conversation, and this is all you do is type this little bit of crap here and there, and that's it. So you're not making any arguments, and your defense of the truth is basically saying, we believe it because we proved it, but you can't show me your proof. And it's just a fact. I mean, even something like, the number, the mass of the electron is the number Feynman uses and other people use to say this is the most precise theory in the history of mankind because, look, we counted all these decimal points and you have to concede that the theory and the experiment are using the same math. So obviously they're going to get consistent answers because they're using the same exact mathematical error. So take the MV squared out and just put MV in there and see what kind of answer you get. And guess what? It'll be just as consistent. The prediction will be exactly what you're going to get as the experimental result because you're applying the same math for both. The experiment isn't. The experiment doesn't make a number. It makes a velocity. It makes a calculated charge velocity. All calculated numbers. They're not experimentally. They're not some kind of number that pops out of nature. It pops out of how you measure it and what you assume based on those measurements. All right. So maybe that's enough. So the other guy says, maybe you should make a new video on the subject. That'll be the day. Yeah, whatever. I don't know why he, gave up on making videos, but that's what he did. And, frankly, it's okay because his videos were non-responsive and, not very useful in the sense he wasn't arguing the experiments and the facts, just arguing mathematical shenanigans. Per second, yeah, per hour. I mean, per day. Phrases that don't mean anything, can't mean anything, that have no scientific integrity. All right, so it doesn't appear to be anything else here, so I'll go look around and see if there's anything else, but I don't think there is. I think we're just going to discontinue comments on the, every now and then I explain that, this is really rude of people to get into my personal life, and especially because I don't live in my house. I live in somebody else's house. Playing with my address is playing with somebody else's life. And it's disgusting that you would do that. That you would attack some person who has nothing to do with me making videos on the internet and attempt to extort me to shut up by attacking some innocent person. I mean, it's just so disgusting that you people have to go so low. To make, this isn't, you make a counter argument. What is your problem? I'm not, I haven't violated some rule by expressing my opinions. You don't have a right to play these games. Anyway, you don't have any cause or reasonable, it's outside the bounds of a reasonable tactic. Okay, so anyway, pretty much the comments will still be recorded somewhere, but they're not going to be displayable. And there really hasn't been any, frankly, right? So in a couple of years I've given them block people a chance to make some sort of argument. They haven't made any. They haven't linked anything relevant. They haven't done anything. I mean, I can't even make your arguments for you. I wish one of you would do it. I mean, Mindless Marbles post these stupid comment thingies. Why doesn't he just point to the key phrases or sentences made by people that prove something? The best arguments, the best counter arguments against draft science. Why can't I just go to that page and it'll link me to all the great evidence you have? All the debunking evidence. I mean, it's just, it's pathetic. So anyway, so I'll go look around. Right, nothing to speak of. I mean, Elizabeth did post a comment. What's the point of this? Anyway, so it's a Dr. Lincoln video. And the guy doesn't have a little white beard and a mustache. And she says he looks more like Colonel Sanders from KFC. So, I mean, he died when I was like a kid. So it's just not terribly relevant. But, I mean, what's the point of this, critiquing how he looks? I mean, it's just, sometimes it's unavoidable, okay? Some people look different. I mean, people, pick on my appearance. Okay, whatever. I couldn't care less. But, it's really, and it's really not even close. So why does he look like Colonel Sanders? Because he's about the same height and he's fat, kind of fat. So that's it. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty lame. All right. So anyway, enough comments, people. Jesus. So till the next time and such and so forth and whatnot. Yeah. Jesus. Internet. So bad.